You are now listening to the LanceScurv Show, the boldest spot on internet radio.
You see? But that's good. That's good. We don't need leaders, isn't it? So we're going to do it. Because we're doing it now. Because those black women I'm talking about, there's one sitting there. They are going to tell the world we cure AIDS. But last night, Clinton and Sanjay Gupta is on CNN talking about the end of AIDS. How about the end of sickle cell? How about the end of lupus? How about the end of herpes? How about the end of blindness? They didn't find those, but they find the end of AIDS. How is that possible? Are we going to buy that too? Are we going to let them continue to say that there is no cure for AIDS when your brother's curing it? So we are guilty. We are the one that's guilty, not the leaders, because they're sick. All the leaders are sick. You can look at them and tell they're sick. So we have to forget about the leaders, right? So which animal in the forest follows a male? None, right? They all follow females. So how did we begin to follow males? I mean, that was the most, look, the one thing I wanted in my life was a woman laying by me as my significant other or my wife, that she didn't have a God or a devil in her brain. That woman is sitting there. Because I could not have a woman laying by me and she worshiping something else. I mean nothing to her. No, you worship you. That's who you worship. That's who we worship in the forest. And we were doing quite well because none of us, her children, could talk about how long did our parents live in the forest of Africa. You don't know. For millions of years since creation. Did we have money? We live a perpetual vacation. Now I gotta wear this stupid suit on. When I didn't have to wear any clothes. But now just to live, I have to have a $15,000 suit on, a $5,000 shoes. I have to have all kind of stuff on me. And then I qualify. I qualify. Do you have a master's degree? Man, I didn't go to school. Oh, put him aside. So in essence, there's no one on this planet that is interested in the cure for any disease. None of the leaders, none of those who are talking, they are not interested. It was simple. It was understanding that is alkalinity that cures, not acidity. And any healer that comes to you with these things, like adding carrots, like moringa, it says here, one of the things that I are careful with, it says here, if you add carrot juice with it, it's going to help you. But just a minute, carrot was made by some dude in Holland. It's very acid. So this moringa knows that you have both eyes closed, so I could sell you anything. We don't want that anymore. We don't want to tell stories anymore. We don't want to protect the stories anymore. But you see what happened? When you have been healing or call yourself a healer for 20 or 30 years using comfrey and rose hips and recommending tofu, and someone comes on the set and says that you may not be quite right, man, you get off there. You begin to get crazy. You begin to go crazy in that person because you have invested 30 years and people know you, and now you can't turn back and say, I was wrong. Well, I was wrong. And it was one little lady, 94 years of age, named Mrs. Holloman. I was along with the rest of the healers. I was reading these books by Jethro Kloss, Alma Hutchins, Indian Herbology of North America, Myers, Christopher, also this other named Shooks. And they all have calcium in it, so I had to believe that, right? And I went to Mrs. Holloman. I said, Mrs. Holloman, you got to drink carrot juice. She said, sit down, boy. I think you're crazy. I think you're out of your mind. I'm 94 years of age. I don't wear glasses. I don't need you to come and tell me to drink carrot juice because I know that carrot is a poison. I was in Rattan, the island of Rattan, and a woman was listening to me talk, and she asked me, what is the best breakfast in the morning? I said, I don't know. She said, a glass of hot water. I know she was right. The sister was right. So in essence, all of the hoopla about AIDS was just noise. We've been curing AIDS since 1984. Why didn't you know about it? The media didn't let you hear it, right? Jesse Jackson Jr. didn't talk about it, right? Well, I think in the book I have to mention his name because this is what's happening. They're lying to us, and we have to stop it. We have the cure for every disease in the world. We, the black race, is responsible. Not the white, not the Chinese, not the Arab. The Arab need help. They need help now. All Arabs need help because there's no way in the world where you find the highest incidence of eye problem like Arabia because they eat lamb. But could you go and tell an Arab to stop eating his lamb? It's like going to tell someone that uses cocaine, stop. Then you're crazy. Like going to Africa and tell a Maasai, hey Maasai, you only live 47 years, man, and you're gonna die because you're eating raw blood and starch. He gonna chop your head off, and he should. Then we go to Guinea, and my wife came to me running. She said, the young man in there with his wife, he's 19, and she's complaining he's impotent. At 19, she said, yes. My wife came with it. What happened? We asked the boy, what does he eat? He eats cassava. Cassava? We say raw? Yes. Go to Guinea. It's a what?
Every Friday evening, tune in to radio's hottest talk show, bringing you the realest, uncensored conversations with the boldest man on the net, LanceScurv.
Welcome to another episode of the LanceScurv Show. I'm sad to say that Dr. Sebi has passed away, and this news has just come across my desk or my phone, so I really don't know the details of it, except that he was arrested for having $37,000 and was taken to jail in Rotan. And the question is, why did he suffer from any health complications while in jail? You know, I mean, what happened to him? Why did he die? And off the cuff, I just find it funny that looking at another article on the freethoughtproject.com, and I'll put the links that I ran across here, but we have to think now. I'm going to come back on this topic and probably have a live show. I'm going to rest today. This is not going to be long, but just let's start thinking, y'all. This article is titled, 5 Holistic Health Doctors Found Dead in 4 Weeks. 5 more go missing after run-ins with feds. That was published on July 15th, 2015. But do we read things like this? I mean, we hit the gossip blogs, we hit the so-called reality TV shows, but things that are important and things that we need to follow and these signs that are happening right in front of us, we don't see because we're so preoccupied with bullshit. Why and how could this man leave us and he was so healthy? Let me just cut the chase. There are many people that don't like him and people like him. You heard his words. That was a 2-hour lecture. And most of you don't even know who he is or was. I'll say is. Because as far as I'm concerned, his works are still alive. His energy is still vibrant and alive. It's just not in the vehicle that it has been in. And we'll read these articles and listen to these videos and audio platforms and go, oh, it's so sad. But here's a man who dedicated his time to finding out the truth of how to eat, how to heal, cured AIDS, diabetes, several other diseases. And I'm just talking off the top of my head. So who would be mad that someone like Dr. Sebi would find these cures? He himself cured himself of diabetes and impotency at an older age and lost weight and everything. Why? Well, because the powers that be in the medical, so-called medical community don't want people like him alive, sharing the information that he does share, because it cuts into their profits. You have to understand, it's not even just an American thing, it's an international thing. There's profit in sickness. The military has all this weaponry. They can spot a pimple on your left ass cheek from up and out of space. And you mean that these diseases still exist? I bet you the elite, if they got sick with AIDS, they wouldn't have it long. Let the Pope get it. You wouldn't even know he had it. They'd get rid of it. Let the presidents and these leaders and these hidden hands behind the major decisions made in the world of what country goes into war and those big things that we don't even know about, let one of them get sick. But we can't have the mass population get well. We wouldn't have drugstores. Everything we deal with would come out of the ground for free. And there would be a lot of people out there out of money. They wouldn't make money. So we have to keep sickness going. And men like Dr. Sebi, especially since the word of what he teaches and taught was growing like a wildfire. We can't have that. That's just my hunch. I just believe that this government, the medical community, these medical corporations, they don't concern themselves with curing sickness. They only concern themselves with barely keeping you alive so they can pump their so-called medicines into you for a profit. Half of the population of this country, not way more than half, are dependent on some type of drug. And the advertisements for drugs to get well, where the side effects are even more lethal than the original condition. But nobody wants to hear a black man speak on healing, living a full life in health and being vibrant, drug-free, natural cures that you can take proactively ahead of time that keeps sickness from you. We need to wake up, people. Most of you haven't even heard of him. Most of you don't know who he is. And now he's gone from us. And before they start snatching his work off of the internet, his lectures, whatever books, they will wipe him out without a trace because he's a threat. And they can't tolerate it coming from a black man who was conscious and aware and wasn't afraid to speak truth. And so the story goes on and on and on and on. I'm going to follow the story. I want to have an open discussion about this. I know several people who would be very interested in adding in, and most of us are not stupid. But right now, that's a call to action. Don't you see how they're knocking our soldiers off one by one? The ones who stand up for truth to look to help us and pull us out of this matrix. Most of us will say, Scurv, those are slick words you're saying, but you know what? I got a headache. I'm going to the drugstore. I'm going to Walgreens or CVS or Duane Reade. My penis doesn't get hard. I need a pill. My stomach hurts. I need a pill. I'm a little overweight. I need a pill. I need to sleep. I need a pill. And as long as you do that, the powers that be are fine with it. Why are so many holistic health doctors and healers being killed off and found dead? In this article, they name off a few people that we probably would never have known. June 19th, Dr. Jeff Bradstreet, an autism researcher from Florida, was found with a gunshot wound to his chest. They made sure to say it was a suicide. June 21st, Dr. Bruce Hendendale, PhD from the Miami area, was found slumped over in his car with no indication as to the cause of his death. The same day, Dr. Baron Holt was found dead in Florida. He died unexpectedly while on a trip to Jacksonville, Florida. Dr. Teresa Severs, another health doctor from Florida, was brutally murdered in her home June 29th, right? Just the other day. Then on July 1st, Lisa Riley, living in Lee County, Georgia, was found murdered in her home with a gunshot wound to the head. And it just keeps on going on and on and on. So these hits, trust me, these are people who didn't fall under the umbrella of tap dancing to the powers that be in the drums that they beat. Why don't they want us to know so-called alternative means of healing, which really is the main way to heal? Why don't they? So we better learn how to eat. We better learn how to take care of ourselves. We better learn to pull our head out of this television set, the advertisements of how they program our mind, and get our mind amped up to live a death style, not a lifestyle. Dr. Sebi spoke on his perspectives on the LGBT community, and a lot of people didn't like it. How dare that nigga speak on things that he's not supposed to talk about? He doesn't know everything. So we have all of these people who claim to be doctors and be successful in this country, and they push their chests out. I'm Dr. So-and-so, and this is my assistant here, and I've been in this practice for 35 years. And they ain't doing a damn thing except collecting a paycheck and afraid to speak out on what they know is a lie. So we've got to do our own research. We've got to learn how to eat. We've got to learn how to live. We've got to learn how to navigate these shark-infested waters that are full of lies and death if you don't jump and dance to the beat of their drummer.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at LanceScurv.com and follow Scurv on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under LanceScurv.